First of all, thank you all for coming. I want to again thank my colleagues. I want to thank publicly my wife and my mother and my campaign staff and crew. Like Ken said, we've been running a very serious and unapologetic campaign, which has proven difficult, quite honestly, for some of the reasons mentioned up here and some that need not be spoken about publicly. We were thinking a lot about how we would close our portion of this discussion. It's not really a debate, it's a discussion among colleagues and comrades, and at least as I'm sure we all see this. The reason that I and my colleague, Suzette Gardner, Todd Burrows, Malik Russell, of course, Head Rock, Anita Rios, a co-campaign manager, much love to Mama Anita, who couldn't be here today. The reason we got involved was because of what we've been saying all day today, that we need to build an alternative movement. We need to come together on the basis of these shared politics, take certain risks, and in the light of the risks that have been mentioned here in the name of Malcolm X and Dr. King, simply voting for Green or a Green Party candidate is not really a risk. It is a simple, basic step that any progressive, concerned citizen in this country would take. This is the only electoral political option. We got involved, and usually when we give this presentation, I end by putting up a big, so try to imagine this with us, a big green square. And we say we have this green party, 15 seconds, this green party. Then we show a strip of red, and we say we want to bring in the Latinos and the indigenous to help with this green party that is awfully white. Then we put the final strip up, the black strip. We want to bring in our black brothers and sisters as well, and we have this beautiful, huge image of a red, black, and green flag. We want to help make this party the true party of liberation for everyone. The best, and I am going to close here, as I said at the beginning, I'm not a politician, I am a political being. I'm a concerned citizen of the world. I am a wannabe revolutionary. Yes. To the extent that those are our goals, I want to share publicly with some discussions that we've had privately. We want to announce here today, and I see no reason to not do this, particularly after this discussion, that our campaign will become a full-out spokesperson, presentation component, outreach component for the Cynthia McKinney campaign. We encourage you all, but I also want to say, with no disrespect to anyone else here on the stage, our goals we see best met through Sisters Campaign. We will support unequivocally any Green Party member who gets the nomination of this party. We are building a party, not individual campaigns.
Thank you.
And Madam, thank you all very much.
Thank you.
And sister, you have our blessing. Thank you.
Closing statement by Kent Mesplay.
Okay. After governmental responses to the after effects of Hurricanes Katrina and Rita, it is apparent that we cannot wait for Uncle Sam to bail us out. In parallel with improving government to be more useful in times of crisis, we must prepare ourselves. I do not consider myself a politician, and sure, maybe there's a little denial involved. I see organizing politically as a way to effect great change in a short period of time. In the Green Party, the party with fresh ideas, lacking the obstacles to change that are found in the entrenched parties, one can find one's place rather quickly so that the skills and abilities are appreciated and used to build real, serious, lasting change. Beyond preparing for a 3-day crisis brought about by earthquake, fire, or flood, Greens are concerned with the long emergency, the slower cyclic changes that sneak up on us with unexpectedly long droughts, by other environmental stressors, by regional changes that go largely unnoticed by our business as usual politicians, corporations, and major media. The oceans are grossly overfished. Most of the large fish are gone. having been taken down to a fraction of their former populations. Marine environments look shockingly destitute to the old-timers who dove many years ago and now find themselves looking at mere remnants of underwater beauty. Old-growth forests are still under siege. The Democrats aren't doing enough, folks. Just register people green and make sure you vote green. I've got more I could say, but that's what it comes down to. Thank you.
Thank you. Closing statement, Cynthia McKinney.
I was born when many Americans, despite flagrant injustices, still had a deep and abiding faith in our country. People living overseas still believed that the United States was a beacon for liberty and freedom from oppression. There was an unshakable belief that the United States could become all that our dreams wanted it to be. I grew up in the tumult of the 60s when fire hoses and attack dogs were unleashed on children who knew that this country could become the country of their dreams. 4 university students sat at a North Carolina lunch counter and forced this country to write a new page in its history because their struggle was right. On the night before his murder, Dr. King said that he was happy to be living at the end of the 20th century because people all over the world were saying, we want to be free. Now people have their eyes riveted on this country because the cries for freedom were heard in Haiti, Cote d'Ivoire, Venezuela, Ecuador, Bolivia, and Nicaragua. It's now our time. Those 4 North Carolina students showed us the power of one. Those elections in Haiti and Cote d'Ivoire and other countries show us the power of the people. The signs of decay are all around us. Our president believes that the Constitution is just a piece of paper. If we fail to stand up, what is it that our country will become? Those of you who are here today are the tested and the true. You have refused to abandon your radical common sense and have built a party worth moving into the major party status. I believe we can do that if we all act and move together. I'd like to thank Jared for his expression of support and for the truths that he reminded us of all today. But I want to thank you for building a wonderful party. I've visited nearly 25 states. I've got 25 more to go to, plus the District of Columbia. And by the time this is over, I expect to have visited every state in our union, meeting the wonderful people of the Green Party and asking more people to join in this party. I believe that we can reach our goals, we can run a campaign, and we can win by our own definition if we do it together. Thank you very much for being here today.
Closing statement, Kat Swift.
Thank you all for coming. It's great to see that we've almost filled this place. I wanted Greens to have choices on the ballot, and I'm really happy that we have 5 candidates who are all competent, credible people who anyone can get behind. And my hope is that we all bring in our own constituents because we're all going to appeal to different types of people. And when it comes down to the nomination, whichever the 5 of us get that nomination, then all of our support goes behind that one person, and that's how we build the momentum to bring about the change and the election of a Green Party presidential candidate. And on down the line from there, because as we get ballot access for the presidential races, that means everyone on down all the way to Justice of the Peace can get ballot access and get elected. Because we all know that the more Greens we get elected, the more likely things are going to change for the better. And all the things we've been talking about here are going to come to pass. And we need to get moving and get people registered and help out states like Arizona who are almost done with their ballot access and need lots of help. And then move on to the other states. Georgia is still trying to get ballot access.
Georgia's going to get ballot access.
Texas is coming up in mid-March. They're in New York, Pennsylvania, and we need to help all of these parties. Just because you live in California doesn't mean you can't help. And so we need to get out and get people registered, and we need to get on the ballot in every state so that we can get our presidential candidate elected in November. Thank you.
Final closing statement, Jesse Johnson.
Your vote is never wasted. If you vote for what you believe in, it registers. And you vote every day. You vote every time you pull a dollar out of your pocket and spend it on something, and you vote when you register. I'm not doing this for myself or for my family or for the Mountain Party of West Virginia and the mountains that I love and the source waters for 3/4 of the water, what little potable water there is left on this planet that comes from the Appalachian Mountain Range. I'm not doing it for the Green Party. I'm doing it for the hope and vision of a nation and our planet. I don't do it for a flag. I do it for this. This is who we are. It's the Constitution, that GD piece of paper George talks about. You know, like I said, I wasn't really wanting audience participation in here. I want it out there. You know, it kind of reminds me of something I read in Benjamin Franklin's autobiography. He talked about the speckled axe. There was a guy who had this axe, and he brought it to the local blacksmith, and he wanted the whole axe to look just like that edge, real shiny. The blacksmith kind of looked at him and says, well, I'll tell you what, you know, you can step over there and you can start grinding that. You turn that wheel, and I'll grind this down until there's nothing but shiny axe for you to admire and hone and own and love. And so he ground on that axe, and he ground, and he turned, and he cranked. Finally, as he was sweating and the blacksmith was watching, holding that axe to the grindstone, he said, you know what? This axe is just fine the way it is. I think I like a speckled axe. Well, folks, that's where we are in this nation. We've come to a point where we're far too comfortable. We have to give up some of our cell phones or whatever and get back to a sustainable lifestyle in a sustainable world with a sustainable nation. And if we follow this, it will sustain and it will endure. And nothing short of that will work. And Stalin said, you know, it's not the votes, how many votes you get, it's who counts the votes. Well, we have to have clear and transparent elections, and we cannot stop, we cannot back, we have to move forward and do what is necessary to get those elections so that the whole world looks at us and respects us for the shining example that we used to be. Thank you.